That's right, I said it, and I'll stick to it. It's impossible to be burned out at anything, your career, your relationships, if you have two important ingredients: curiosity and autonomy. Let's unpack these two today in Right Brain Recess. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Salyer, and for those just tuning in, I'm a physician on a mission. You could say I'm your chief creativity catalyst. I want to teach 1 million health professionals, and anybody who's listening, how you can tap into your own creative flow on demand. And that way you mitigate your fatigue, you move past burnout, and you learn to optimize your own potential. But let's talk about, why am I so interested in this? I'm interested because we should be investing in our healthcare professionals. We're burning out at exponential rates. And I am now excited to bring you my Cliff's Notes from my weekly High Flow Leadership Mastermind. I've been involved with the Flow Research Collective. That's Stephen Kotler's work. And he works with Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who is a Turkish psychologist who coined the term flow. And again, why do we want to learn about flow? It is the antithesis of burnout. If burnout is feeling depersonalized and exhausted and low perceived achievement, flow is feeling deeply engrossed and engaged and excited and enthusiastic, and it actually produces a neurochemical cocktail in your brain that is very grandiose and somewhat addictive. So if we can teach our fellow healthcare professionals how to tap into this, it's powerful, right? But let's circle back and talk about those two things that you need. You need curiosity, you need autonomy. And so I have my notes in front of me from our recent mastermind. And this is world-changing, game-changing people. I'm getting to have a seat at the table with CEOs, other people of other industries, that we are cross-pollinating and giving each other help so we can grow and scale flow in our own way. We're changing the culture. But here's the notes from my recent mastermind. People often flounder for lack of knowledge in their performance. In other words, we are all toddlers, kindergartners. We want that sticker chart. We want to know, how are we doing? We need feedback. But more importantly, that feedback needs to come in a timely fashion. And we suffer burnout when we don't have choice. We don't have autonomy in our time or our scheduling, or we don't have that curiosity anymore. It becomes so mundane, or we feel like we've hit a dead end. That's when burnout starts. I'd like to share a story that may resonate from those listening. If you're a medical student, if you're a college student or resident, I'll tell you what I felt it was like going through jumping the hoops. So you start in college and your autonomy and your curiosity are high. You've got control over when you study, what classes you're taking, when you sleep, when you take a lunch break, and you're curious, how is it going to be to get into medical school? So then you get in. You're in medical school and your autonomy is a lot weaker, right? You really have to take the classes that you're supposed to, but your curiosity is on fire because you're learning about the human body. You're learning how to interact and treat and cure patients. And this is an exploratory time. You're meeting people just like you, and you might find that your passion is just lit on fire. Unfortunately, there's really no guidance, at least not when I went to medical school. No guidance on finding your own personal strengths. No guidance on what career might fit you best with your goals, your values. But nonetheless, it's a sink or swim mentality in medical school. You just got to jump through those hoops until you hit residency. So let's say you're lucky, you match, you get into a residency. And now your autonomy isn't just gone, it's in the negatives, right? You really are owned by other people. You show up to your rotation when you're supposed to be there. You go to sleep if you can. You're on call. You're responsible for other lives. You really don't have a relationship with a gym. If you try, that's great, but exercise, everything takes a back seat. So your autonomy goes down and your curiosity is kind of wavering. You're learning, but you're really struggling. You're given the light at the end of the tunnel that it gets better. Right? This is where a lot of residents fall through the cracks. Burnout starts seeping in because that autonomy and curiosity is really shaky. Imagine if we had more guidance. Imagine if we checked in with residents routinely and asked about self-care, or provided time for them to engage in self-care, to fuel their curiosity outside the industry of medicine. because studies show those skills are transferable. I was fortunate. I had a fantastic residency director at Metro Hospital in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Shout out to Dr. Susan Sevensma. And much like other residency directors across the nation, they're trying to help their residents with holiday events, team building experiences, trying to get that community to engage. But we're talking about silos of individual doctors that are just doing their best to get by because they're told, once you're an attending, it gets better. So now you graduated, you're an attending physician, and you're thinking, here we go. I can pick my calendar, my schedule. I can surround myself with staff. I can design my day to work towards my goals. But a lot of us don't know where our strengths lie, right? And there really isn't a feedback loop. We don't know, are we efficient in our charting or not? Are we falling behind? What's average? We don't know. There really is minimal audits. There's minimal help with how to streamline efficiency. In fact, the only feedback we get is in monetary form called RVUs, which is how we get paid. That's per patient or how complex they are or whether we coded it correctly, which are rules of the game that we never signed up for. We really don't care so much about coding, and this is where we struggle. So now attending physicians are losing their autonomy. They're becoming less curious and more frustrated, and burnout is on the rise. So with what I'm learning at the High Flow Leadership, we need to be treated like CEOs. Doctors should be given a professional development opportunity to learn their core values, their strengths, and to be able to arrange their schedule that is chronologically beneficial to them. Perhaps they're a late riser. Perhaps they're an early bird. Maybe they like quiet when they need to concentrate. Or maybe they like white noise and background. But we need to start helping doctors optimize their own ability to see patients and get feedback on how efficient they are. So immediate feedback from peers would be helpful, immediate feedback from the work itself, and feedback on your own personal standards. If we boil it down to just curiosity and autonomy, that goes way beyond the basics of Dr. Christine Masloch's research. If you're familiar, she identified many pillars of burnout. If we don't have passion in our work or purpose or curiosity or mastery, autonomy, community, if we don't have much reward, it doesn't seem fair, then we're going to feel burned out. But really the two top core features are curiosity and autonomy. So when you start feeling those seeds of burnout, ask yourself, how can you find more autonomy in your day? Even tiny bits, right? Can you come to work earlier? Can you take a break for a walk? Find other ways you can explore your curiosity. See how you can learn to fall back in love with whatever you're learning about or outside of your industry. If you check yourself on those two things, you can save a lot of angst and grief. And stay tuned. Coming soon, I have a digital planner, Right Brain Rescue Planner, that will help you avoid burnout, keep track of some of these key things, and plan your time wisely through the year by breaking tasks up in chunks, and it helps you stay on track so that you can be your most sparkly version of yourself and keep coloring outside those lines. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week full of curiosity and autonomy. We'll talk to you next time.